I'm going to call the June 27th, 2024 meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America.
Okay, fire evacuation announcements. There are two exits here. One is directly behind you, and the other one is out this way, and go downstairs and get as far away from the building as you can in case of any kind of emergency like that. Thank you. Tonight, I'm going to be seating three alternates because we have three absences. So we will be seating Commissioner Kruzel, Commissioner D'Antonio, and Commissioner Hooper. Okay, so could we have roll call, please, Mr. Secretary?
Yes. Okay, Terrence Lynch is absent. Linda DeVray.
There.
John Petronella is here. And, Francis Alimo is absent. Joseph Muley.
Here.
Kenneth Alinsky.
Here.
Vincent Grillo is absent. Christian D'Antonio.
Here.
Patrick Hooper.
Here.
And Walter Kruzel.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the approval of the minutes of the June 13th meeting. Can I have a motion to
Excuse me,
approve the?
Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry?
I did watch the meeting, so I can vote on
Oh,
these
that's right,
minutes.
that's right. So you're set.
I make a motion to accept the June 13, 2024 meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay. All right, so it's been moved by Commissioner Kruzel and seconded by Commissioner Commissioner Hooper? Okay. That's it. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Town attorney's report? I don't think there is any.
No report.
Okay,
You'll get it at your next meeting.
okay. Any zoning enforcement officers report?
No report.
Okay. Public participation. At this time, we invite the public to come up and speak on subjects pertinent to the planning and zoning agenda. I mean, not agenda, the public planning and zoning area. And you can come up and speak on topics that are not on tonight's agenda. So would anyone like to come up and speak to the commission? Anyone, second time, like to come up and speak to the commission? And third time, anyone who would like to come up to speak to the commission? Okay, hearing that, or not hearing that, we can move on. Okay, are there any, there are no bond releases, I don't think.
No
right?
bond releases.
Okay. Okay, authorization for administrative approvals, SPR 1940, 90 Phoenix Avenue. Lori, do you want to?
Yes, I reported on this last meeting, but we have authorized the administrative approval for SBR 1940, 90 Phoenix Avenue, application for a site plan review for a change of use from office to warehouse/manufacturing. Carla Pino, applicant, Hanover Hall Limited Partnership, Spinnaker Real Estate Partners, owners, map 46, lot 37, IP zone. And as I had explained at the last meeting, it basically is going from a warehouse that went to office and a call center and going back to a warehouse.
Okay, are there any comments or questions from the commission? No. Okay, everybody's okay with it?
Yep.
Okay, so I guess we're good. Item 10, Director of Planning report.
I really don't have anything of urgency to say to anybody. Our new assistant town planner will be starting on the 8th, so he's still coming.
Good. That's good. Okay, great. Okay, moving on to item 11, outside correspondence. Is there any outside correspondence? Guess not. Okay. All right, item 12, commissioners' correspondence. Do the commissioners have any correspondence they'd like to discuss with the commission? Okay, I do have one item. I got a call from Chairman Alimo. He has some concerns about the bounce house, which has been installed in the mall area where the carnival is. and he was wondering if that's been fully approved and vetted by planning and zoning, of course, and I'm not sure about the town. He's concerned about the safety of the children.
So we have signed off on the zoning permit, and the building permit has also been approved. Right now, they're doing inspections.
Okay.
And the health department is also involved.
Okay, and I'm assuming there are certain safety regulations they have to meet, and so I guess we're probably okay with it then. Okay. Item 13, continued public hearings. I don't think we have any of those. Okay, new public hearings. Item 14A, PH number 3093, 368 Elm Street. Mr. Secretary,
Yep.
could you read the,
Excuse me. Yeah, the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing at the regular meeting of Thursday, June 27th, 2024, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing number 3093, 368 Elm Street, application for a special use permit to the expansion of a non-conforming structure, Raymond Frost, applicant owner, map 74, lot 212, R33 zone.
okay, are you ready to present to us?
Yes.
And could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Ray Frost, 368 Elm Street, Enfield.
Thank you.
Make sure that microphone is on.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
There it is, it's on.
I'll get a little closer.
Okay.
Ray Frost, 368 Elm Street, Enfield. So what I'm looking to do is just extend the house to the left along the same setback as it is now with a 16-foot bump out to the left, and it's going to be 22 feet deep. The house is 24 feet, so it's going to be just a little bit smaller in depth.
Okay, Lori, do you have any input on this?
Not much. Not much. I pretty much stated in my memo that this follows section 3.40.1D. It's an R33 zone that was upzoned from R17. So it's a non-conforming house, and as to location, they're going to keep the same plane of the house parallel to the road. So it shouldn't be significantly bumping out or getting closer to the road. And as a matter of fact, they have like a little front stoop that will be closer to the road than this. And it follows the same line as the other houses on the road.
Yep, we can see that. Okay, any questions or comments from the commissioners for the applicant?
No, Mr. Chair, if I may, we've gone through quite a few of these over the years, and because of the changes that they made back in the 80s, from changing R17 to R33, which created an abundance of non-conforming uses as they sit now. So it's been really the commission stance that we look at these very favorably. So. With that, if there's anybody else who's got anything, I certainly would like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3093, 368 Elm Street, application for a special use permit for the expansion of a non-conforming structure, Raymond Frost, applicant owner, map 74, lot 212, R33 zone, with the following attached 16 conditions. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Sorry. I'm
Sorry.
sorry. A little jump in the gun
sorry
there.
about that, we're jumping the gun.
I know you want to get out here fast, but,
Yeah, not that fast, but
okay, just remember
sorry.
that there's also a waiver and a finding that
Yep.
needs to be read once you close the public hearing.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner.
yep.
Yes, does anyone from the public like to speak for or against this proposal? Would anyone from the public like to speak for or against this proposal? And for a third time, would anyone from the public like to speak for or against this proposal? Hearing none, I guess
I
public.
make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. Show of hands. Aye.
All right.
Unanimous vote. close the public hearing.
And now John can-
And now,
Now go, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Secretary, you can go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3093, 368 Elm Street, application for a special use permit for the expansion of a non-conforming structure. Raymond Frost, applicant owner, map 74, lot 212, R33 zone, with the attached 16 conditions.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay. Been moved and seconded by Commissioner DeGray. Could we have, is any discussion on the motion? Yes,
So-
Commissioner Cruz.
So through the chair to staff, you mentioned something about waivers. Do we have to do them now or after?
You can do it after, you just need to make sure that it's read into
Okay.
the record.
Just checking.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner D'Antonio.
Yep, through the chair to staff, is this seems like an opportunity for us as we're going through our zoning regulations to decrease the number of nonconformities, right? We talked about this and possibly
Absolutely.
down zone, get back.
Yeah.
I guess
Correct,
technically
down
up
zone.
zone.
Yep.
Technically up zone, allow more density up zone. But, yeah, so I completely agree with Commissioner Petronella that, we want to decrease the need for townsfolk to come in here and,
Yeah.
make it easier for everybody to just build a simple addition to their house. Totally agreed.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think in the course of protocol, we probably should be acting on a waiver first rather than a motion, Laurie. What is that?
Well, that's the sequence that I put it in, but as
Yeah,
long as they're
and-
read
yeah,
in.
and I glazed over that again, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But the applicant is requesting a waiver for the requirements of a site plan, to submit a site plan per 9.10.2.c, as it would not be required for any other addition to a house. And I'd like to make, a motion that we do accept that waiver.
Excuse me, point of order. We have a motion on the floor that we need to vote
we-
on.
can we-
or-
do we
are
withdraw that?
it? Oh, we can.
Can we table that motion?
You can just amend the motion.
Okay.
Yep.
Can
All
we
right.
amend the
You
motion?
can amend, and I'll second it.
Amend the motion to approve?
Yeah, so if you just start over, just read it again,
Right.
and just say motion to amend the original motion, and then read everything.
Right. Yeah, make a motion to amend the original motion, and I'd like to make a motion to accept a waiver for the applicant who is seeking a waiver for the requirements of a site plan per 9.10.2.c, to not be required to submit a site plan for the house addition.
Okay, can I have a second on the
Second.
amendment?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Muley. Okay, so we will now go ahead and vote on the amendment,
The waiver.
On the waiver.
waiver, the waiver amendment to the original main motion. Do we have roll call, please, Mr. Secretary?
Yeah. Linda DeGray.
Or,
Kenneth Alinsky.
4.
Joseph Muley.
4.
John Petronella is 4. Christian D'Antonio.
Findings.
Patrick Hooper.
4.
And Walter Cruzell.
4.
Okay, now we need to go ahead and vote on the main motion. So
Yeah.
we have,
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve, again, public hearing number 3093, 368 Elm Street, application for a special use permit for the expansion of a non-conforming structure, Raymond Frost, applicant owner, map 74, lot 212, R33 zone, with 16 conditions.
Mr. Petronella, can you please read the finding?
I'm sorry.
The finding that's underneath the,
Oh, the finding?
yes.
Well, the commission makes the finding that the proposed meets the plan of conservation development, and that this proposal will encourage and provide the diversity of the housing types, tenor, and affordable to all incomes, and will not be detrimental to the orderly development of adjacent properties.
okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Millet. Okay, can we have roll call on the main motion as read?
Yes. Linda DeGray,
4.
Kenneth Alinsky,
4.
Joseph Muley,
4.
John Petronella is 4, Christian D'Antonio,
4.
Patrick Hooper,
4.
and Walter Krizel.
4.
Okay, unanimous vote. Okay, so the application is approved, and along with the amendment for the waiver. So, you're all set.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your
Good
time.
luck with it.
Thank you.
My turn.
Okay,
Who seconded
next on the agenda
the motion?
is item 14B,
Yep.
PH number 3094, 6 Lake Drive.
The Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing at the regular meeting of Thursday, June 27th, 2024, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing number 3094, 6 Lake Drive, new special use permit for a 4-season sunroom, 20-foot by 17.5 feet, to a detached garage. Dana Anderson, applicant, owner, map 98, lot 11, R33 zone.
Okay, welcome. Could you identify yourself?
Yes, I'm Dana Anderson, 6 Lake Drive, Enfield.
Okay. And would you like to present your application?
We'd like to build the sunroom so that when we have family or friends visit from out of town, they have a place to stay. We have room in the house for the family, but the detached garage really, it's a small space and there's not enough room for them to stay and be comfortable in it. So if we built the sunroom, it would give them more space to be comfortable and visit. So that's why
Okay.
we'd like to
All
build
right.
that.
Okay, so are there any members from the public who would like to speak for or against this proposal? Are there any members in the public who would like to speak for or against this proposed application? Oh, I will. And are there any more people from the audience who would like to come up and speak for or against this proposal? Okay, Lori, can you give us your,
Georgie's going to give
Actually-
you that.
or Georgie, oh, it's Georgie. Okay.
This is similar to the application you heard before. The only difference is that they're not only expanding a non-conforming structure, they're also expanding a non-conforming use. The detached cottage was approved in 1961, so that's how it got to be there in the first place. And under 3.40.1 and 3.40.4, they can extend it via special permit approval. You would just have to make the findings that the proposal is in harmony with the neighborhood and satisfies the POCD. And I've had no concerning comments from any of the other departments.
Okay, are there any comments or questions? Commissioner DeGray?
Yeah, I do have a lot of comments about this. We're expanding a non-conforming building more, and we usually, I mean, yeah, you're saying we can do that, but expanding non-conforming is not allowed. And let me finish. I see your face. I see you.
Totally.
And yes, we can, but it's also in the Lake District, which is a very high-density area. And they're saying they want a better view of the lake, which makes me feel that there may be taking down trees in the lake area, which now inlands and wetlands would be involved. So we don't expand non-conforming use. And yes, that was built in 1961, but we also don't have ADUs. So it's kind of setting a precedent to say, oh, yeah, well, these people had a detached garage and they made it bigger and made it into a nice big cottage. And now we've got two houses on one property which now is considered an ADU, and we don't allow that either.
Right, so I'm going to go in order here. There would be no tree clearing. There's no trees behind the detached garage. And that type of a project can be approved through the building permit via an agent approval of wetlands. So you don't necessarily have to come before wetlands for this type of project. The other thing is it was approved as a detached cottage in 1961. So like a guest house, cottage guest house. So they got the approval back then, and with the way the regs are written, just like the application before you, they can apply to request to have that use and structure expanded.
Right, the guest house, as we're going to call it, it's really a cottage, let's call it what it really is grandfathered. That building, the way it is grandfathered. But to make it more non-conforming is against our regulations.
Well, that's why she's here before
Right,
you,
I'm
because
just
we
saying.
allow that in the
Okay.
regs.
As long as she understands it is against our regulations.
Yep, we've actually been working with the property owners for almost 2 years on this project. We've been doing a lot of research, which is how we ended up finding the 1961 original approval, because when they first inquired with us, they had originally applied for a building permit, and we had stopped it because, just like what you said, we don't allow detached dwelling units. But then we found out after our research that technically the way it was approved as a detached dwelling unit in 1961.
Okay, and when these people decide to move, and you're not doing it.
Yes.
All right, I'm not saying you're doing this. The next person that buys that property now has 2 houses, one that they can rent as an Airbnb, which we don't allow. And so it starts to set a precedent for things to start snowballing out of our control.
Right. So should in the future it be rented out as an Airbnb, that's where we follow through with violations. If you'd feel comfortable, you can make a site-specific condition claiming that it can't ever be rented or an Airbnb, and then you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments from the commission?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Kuzel and seconded by Commissioner Hooper to close the public hearing. All in favor? Unanimous? Okay.
We can have discussion.
What?
We can have discussion.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion on this particular issue or application? Yes, Linda?
The only thing is we're starting to set a precedent. We do it once, we start setting precedent. The next one comes in, and I understand this has been approved, and that particular building, the way it is, was approved, and it's grandfathered. The footprint is what it is. To expand it to make it more non-conforming is against our regulations. That's the only thing that I have. And then to set precedent, the people before us, their problem was not something they created. It was something our forefathers created by changing the R-17. This is a totally different case. This is not going from an R-17 to an R-33. This is building and adding onto a non-conforming building. I mean, the footprint's there, and
Okay.
they can do whatever they want with that existing footprint, but to add on to it to make it more non-conforming is against our regulations.
Okay, any other comments? I have a couple of questions. Georgie, you said we were allowed to approve this, even though it's non-conforming? Or is it
Yes.
It's still non-conforming, but we can approve?
Yes.
Are we approving via a waiver?
No, it falls under 3.40, where it talks about non-conforming uses, structures, and lots. So because they're expanding a non-conforming use and a non-conforming structure, they can do that by a special permit approval from planning and zoning.
Okay. And that's what our motion basically
Yes.
states? Okay. All right. Okay,
Commissioner DeGray.
yeah, go ahead. Commissioner Hooper.
Just, maybe I should go away from that. I hear you're setting a precedent. but wouldn't we still, in any type of individual situation, have the availability to decline a request? If it were like clearing brush or didn't meet the tables or what have you for whatever reason, just out of curiosity, correct?
We can, but again, we can't expand non-conforming, and that's in
Right.
our regulations, and that's what they're asking us to do. And this has nothing to do with other than a want. I
Okay.
mean, I want to be 5'7", okay? It's a want, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Okay.
So
I just was-
It's just there, and I'm not pressuring you to devote however you want to, but I have this issue about expanding non-conforming. We have other issues that we're going to be working on, like the R-17, which was created an issue through most of the town from our forefathers. This is not. This is just a want.
Fair enough, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments? Yes, Commissioner D'Antonio.
Yeah, I do, just to clarify, it is allowed in our regulations. We can allow them to expand non-conforming use. Yes, it's non-conforming, but that does not mean it's not allowed. Those are two different words. But anyway, what the applicant is trying to do here is a very modest expansion, not even visible from the road. Virtually no impact to anybody. It's just going to give them a little extra space. If it's setting a precedent, which it's not really, it's just our regulations. Our regulations is that if you have non-conforming, you can come to us if you want to try to expand that. That's just our regulation. That's not a precedent. That's regulation. Even if we were to treat it as precedent, I mean, frankly, it's a good precedent to set. I mean, there's a homeowner who just wants a little extra space. It's their house. Yes, it's a small cottage. It's a small guest house. There's honestly nothing unreasonable about that. I mean, if this applicant was coming to us with the guest house itself, I'd be like, that's a pretty, even if it was a brand new guest house, that's a pretty reasonable thing to ask. So, I mean, going forward, I hope we do a little more diligence in being a little more liberal in allowing homeowners to have guest houses. It shouldn't be the exception if that's what they want, as long as they follow, all the regulations we set up. So yeah, I have no qualms about this. It's entirely modest, and I mean, I have no concerns about it.
Just one more comment.
Commissioner Hooper.
So I would definitely be for putting something in place that says that it can never be rented or Airbnb type thing. I think that would be a good condition. Otherwise, I see no reason why we shouldn't vote for it, so.
Yes, Commissioner DeGray.
Through the chairman to the staff, does this fall within the 20% coverage of the lot?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So,
That's all, that tells you? That's it? That's it? Yes or no? It's
I
yes.
have information,
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Georgia.
Any other commissioners' comments? Okay, so I guess we're going to do the motion, and Commissioner Hooper has recommended we add a condition saying it can never be used for an Airbnb. Is that
Or
correct?
rented.
Or rented as a Airbnb. Okay?
So just to clarify, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
do we want to specify short-term rental? I would not specify Airbnb, so we're saying short-term rental.
Okay, that makes sense.
That would be, yeah, I mean,
That makes sense.
leaving the Airbnb thing out of it, I'm more concerned with it becoming a rental.
Okay. So that kind of covers everything.
Right, yeah.
Sure. Okay. All right, so hearing no more comments from the commission, I guess we can go ahead and make the motion? What? He's going to add it to the motion.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3094 Six Lake Drive application for a special use permit to expand a non-conforming structure. Dana Anderson, applicant owner, Stanford and Kimberly Anderson, owner, map 98, lot 11, R33 zone, LOD, with the conditions noted. There's 20 conditions plus added conditions, plus an added condition that the owner will not be allowed to have the cottage available for short-term rentals.
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner Petronella, seconded by Commissioner Kuzel. Can we have roll call, please?
Yes. Linda DeGray.
Against, and the reason for that is we're expanding a non-conforming, and we have denied other non-conforming properties similar to this.
Ken Helinski.
4.
Joseph Muley.
4.
John Petronella is 4. Christian D'Antonio.
4.
Patrick Hooper.
4.
And Walter Krizel.
4.
And the vote is 6 to
Okay.
1
Vote
in
is 6
favor.
to 1 in favor.
Thank you.
And it's nothing personal.
No, I understand.
Okay, thank you very much. Good
to
luck.
say, my dad couldn't be here because he's bringing my nephew to go buy his first car. So he's usually the talker. But he did want me to mention that we are all extremely grateful for the hard work that you have put into this, all of you, the whole staff, and how wonderful they've been every time we've needed to come in. And we do appreciate all of you here and what you do for the town. So thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you for that comment. Okay. Moving on to item 14C, PH number 3095.
The Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing at the regular meeting of Thursday, June 27th, 2024, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers at 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following. Public hearing number 3095, 95 High Street, Units 7 and 8, application for a special use permit for a place of worship. Jesus and Sandra Garcia applicants, Molinas Plaza LLC owner, map 25, lot 6, TD5 zone.
Okay, welcome. And please identify yourselves for the record, your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Pastor Josue Garcia. We're applying for 95 High Street.
Okay. And you, sir?
On Harbog, 45 Post Road.
Okay. Okay, well, go ahead and tell us what you're trying to do here.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is we had a current church location around the corner, and they got to a point where we needed a little bit bigger space, so we found this location, but we ran into the situation where it has to be approved for a change of occupancies, and this is why we're standing here before you today, to get the approval so that we can have a little bit more spacious place for worship.
Okay. All right, thank you. Lori or Georgie, any comments?
Yeah, so this will be over at the Molinas Plaza where the old Haven Games and Hobbies store used to be. They are taking over units 7 and 8. This is allowed in that zone via special permit approval, which is why they're here for you tonight. Molinas Plaza has shared parking with all of their tenants. We made sure there was enough parking spaces to accommodate the requirements for a place of worship, as well as the restaurant, bakery, and all the other tenants that exist at that plaza. Let's see. As far as other departmental comments, everybody signed off on their step and there were no concerns. There will be a more detailed review of the interior design as they go through the building permit for any interior changes. That is all I have.
Okay. Is there anybody from the public who would like to speak for or against this proposal? Anyone from the public who would like to speak for or against this proposal? Anyone, for the third time, who would like to speak for or against the proposal? Okay. Commissioners' comments. Commissioner DeGray.
Through the chairman to staff, I know there was some structural issues with that building. Were they addressed by the landlord?
I have not heard of structural problems, but if there are, then usually they are handled
Okay.
through the
No, I
building
was just
department.
wondering if they were already or,
I'm not aware of any.
all right.
Be a building permit issue.
Right, all right, thank you.
Okay, anyone else on the commission? Okay, I guess-
Yeah,
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
okay, all in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Public hearing is closed. Okay, go ahead, John, you wanted to make some comments?
Excuse me, just to clarify, the parking notation from the planning report, it says parking space reservation needs to be revised per the Serape's parking plan. Was there a parking plan? There's not a site plan here, is there?
No, that was a comment I had when I was doing the review, and then when I had a conversation with the applicant, we figured it out. It was because I had a question about the number of employees, but they're not having any other additional employees, so there wasn't any other concerns I had with the parking spaces. I was looking at it as in the Serape's restaurant expansion parking plan when she handed us a GIS snippet and she labeled out all the parking spaces. So that was just a review comment that I didn't update.
Yeah, I assume the plaza has enough of
Yes,
space is
there's more
required
than
for
enough.
the entire plaza.
Yeah.
Okay. No further questions.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and make the motion.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3095, 95 High Street, Units 7 and 8, application for a special use permit for a place of worships. Jesus and Sandra Garcia applicants, Molinas Plaza LLC owner, map 25, lot 6, TD5 zone with the general conditions of approval, 20 conditions listed.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Commissioner Kuzel. Can we have a roll call, please? Oh, any discussion? Any discussion on the motion? Okay, you can have a roll call, please.
Yes, Linda DeGray,
4.
Kenneth Helinski,
4.
Joseph Muley,
4.
John Petronella is 4, Christian D'Antonio,
4.
Patrick Hooper,
4.
and Walter Grizel.
4.
And it's approved, 7-0.
Okay, unanimous approval. Congratulations,
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
and good luck with your project.
Thank you.
What? I guess so. Okay, so next is item 14D, public hearing number 3096, 254 Post Office Road.
Yes, the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing at their regular meeting of Thursday, June 27th, 2024, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers at 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing number 3096, 254 Post Office Road, new special use permit for the parking of a commercial vehicle at residence James Wellman, applicant, owner, map 71, lot 25, R88 zone.
Okay, welcome. Can you identify yourself, name and address, please?
My name is James Wellman, 254 Post Office Road, and this is for, the reason for this apparent interaction this evening is regarding the acceptable placement of my company's commercial and private use vehicle to keep it in my driveway at said address.
Okay. Staff, any comments?
Yeah, so the applicant uploaded some pictures and 2 videos for you to see how the truck would look when driving by from the road. The only requirement that was not satisfied was the screening requirement. So in my staff report, you'll see it should be colored. There's red comments next to the original concerns that I had. The applicant has supplied additional information about the vehicle height and length, so we received that. He believes that the existing topography will suffice as screening, which we'll go over. And then he included the measurement of the GIS of distance from the truck to the neighboring property, which is about 75 to 78 feet, and hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Other than that, I had no departmental concerns. Planning concerns were satisfied, and then it's up to the commission to talk with the applicant about the screening requirement for commercial vehicles in residential zones. So I'll open these videos for you that Mr. Wellman uploaded.
So this particular video is coming westbound.
The house is over
My
here.
house would be right there. As you can see, there would be no visibility. Single car driver would have no visibility of my driveway because it's parked behind a
Yeah.
tree line.
This is the
This would
house right
be
here.
eastbound, same route, going into the bend of the road, south into Post Office Road. Again, eyes on the road, you're not going to be able to see my vehicle. This is across the street at the drive, or at the, pardon me, there's a walking path, bike path across the street. This is from that particular position.
The truck is right here.
Okay, and your property is where?
Right
At
here.
right
Behind
behind that
the-
tree.
Right behind the tree, okay.
Correct.
Okay,
That's would be part
The issue that staff had noted was when you look directly at the property from the street, then you can see the truck. You can kind of see it right there.
Oh, yeah,
There's
okay,
a
yep,
a
yep.
small hill that kind of blocks the view when coming down.
yep,
This is the view from the applicant's home towards the street, from where the truck is.
okay,
A view when you come up by the neighbor's house. This is what the neighbor would see, that depression right there. So it kind of blocks the view from the neighbors.
okay.
This is again going upwards the street. You can't see it. This is directly across, so this would be the only viewpoint that you can see the commercial vehicle and the residence. Another picture from the house showing the topography, which is to the applicant's benefit for screening. Another picture going downwards, the hill, truck. And last picture, a little bit closer, going down.
So there's me standing in the ditch, basically, looking down the road into that bend, and that's pretty much that 35 degrees or what have you from my driveway out is about the only viewpoint of that vehicle. I did go over the screening regulation according to the new updates from the manual over the last few days, and it doesn't state in here that it actually is necessary to screen from the view of the road. Commercial vehicles subject to special permit shall be screened alongside the closest residential property lined by appropriate green shrubs, fence, or a combination thereof. Exceptions, modifications may be considered by the commission, taking into consideration the topography and proximity adjacent residential structures. I have also taken into and what isn't on there is a topographical map location. The fact that there's no other, I have one resident would be, excuse me, one resident that is the closest resident that would be up on top of that hill. And then that's my closest resident. The only other resident would be across the street, shielded by all the shrubbery. And then on the other two sides of my property is the Enfield Hunters Club. So there is no physical surroundings of the property. So there would be actual no visibility from that except for that little viewpoint right there. And again, I present your own regulation that doesn't say that it even needs to be shielded from the road, from view from the road. There is also, it is also in, if I may, that it is also listed in the state regulations that I'm authorized for this particular size vehicle. The combination plate the blue combination plate for not just commercial, but private use vehicle as well. So and I use it as a secondary vehicle for just that very reason. It's a mixed use vehicle.
Okay.
Not just for commercial use, but is as a secondary vehicle.
Okay, do any of the commissioners have questions for the applicant? Yes.
What kind of fuel does it use, gasoline or diesel?
It's unleaded fuel.
Gasoline or diesel?
Unleaded fuel.
Gasoline, okay.
Gasoline.
And I have a question to the staff. We had the other people come before us with the same type of situation where you're not allowed to have commercial vehicles parked in a residential area, and we've denied them, and what makes this different? Just asking question.
No, you're fine. Under 3.30.13.2, A2, it's allowed by special permit approval to park a commercial vehicle in a residential zone.
Okay, so, like I said in the past, because people are very much against commercial vehicles.
Right.
Because, especially trucks, they see a big truck, they
Right.
think noise, which
Well,
is an
it's a
odd man.
different type of application, different location, different property. I can tell you that we haven't even had that many phone calls about the sign, and when I've told them that it was for a commercial vehicle, oh, okay.
But I'm just saying, is we've had several people before us, home businesses wanting their commercial trucks parked on the property, and we've denied them. in the
Again, that
past,
was
so.
different. I would consider.
No, it
Yeah, that was
wasn't?
different. I would consider the topography of this one. It's up to you whether or not to waive the screening requirement, considering topography into play. But other than that, I would look at it as what you have before you and if it's in harmony with the neighborhood or not. Basically, just what's laid out in that section of commercial vehicles.
And I have to beg to differ with you. This is not different. We've denied other people parking their commercial vehicles in their houses.
Yep. So
Thank you.
that's why he's
Commissioner
here.
Kuzel?
Did you say it had a combination plate on it?
It does have a combination plate on it.
Technically, it's not a commercial vehicle.
I'll look, I got the regulation.
It's by GVW. Over GVW, you got to have a commercial plate, and if you have a combination plate, so technically it's, I mean, I could have a pickup truck with a combination plate on it, so it's the same registration as a pickup truck.
From the DMV website, I'll read it into record. Combination plate means the type of registration plate issued for this motor vehicle, which is a use both private and passenger commercial purposes. If the vehicle does not have a gross vehicle weight rating in excess of 12,500 pounds, which I meet that requirement.
Yes, so technically, it's not a commercial vehicle. The other one you were talking about were commercial trucks, because I do remember watching it. They were big box, they were larger box trucks. This is a van, a glorified van with a box on the back. That's all it is.
Pretty much, yes, sir.
Commissioner DeGray?
Do you have advertisement on your vehicle for your business?
Magnetic advertisement.
Okay, there is advertisement then.
If you, to be
All right,
honest
thank
with
you.
you, that I can remove and apply as necessary.
Okay, anyone else? Commissioner Hooper?
To staff, was this originated by a complaint of some kind?
I do not remember how it came into our office. I know it came in as an inquiry sheet with the zoning officer, and he was told of the requirements of a special permit for a commercial vehicle.
I came of my own free will.
So most times when we have people come in for a commercial vehicle request, it's because of a violation.
And was we're talking about the vehicle being there after work or throughout the day?
After work. That's it.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
I mean, I used
Yes,
to bring
Commissioner
I used to bring our box truck home all the time and parked it in my driveway at night. So you're telling me I had to come and get a permit for it? So that's what he's doing. He's just parking a combination vehicle, not a commercial vehicle, a combination plate vehicle.
I guess the reason for the special permit was because of the town's regulation of the division at 11,000 pounds versus the state's regulation of 12,500 pounds. Anything over 11,000 that it's a town regulation that I have to go and receive a special permit as opposed to the state's regulation of 12,500 to maintain, under that, to maintain the combination plate, which is still.
And to point out, he came at his free will to do this too, so.
Mr. Chair, I got a
Yes,
couple
go
of
ahead.
questions. To staff through the chair, are we approving a specific vehicle of 2 axles and a gross vehicle weight of 12,300 pounds? Meaning if a couple of years he gets a new vehicle and let's say it's bigger, or I'd assume he may have to come back.
Well, the way it's written, we have a maximum allowed weight of 26,000 pounds, so anything larger than that or heavier would not be allowed. You could condition it to be specific towards this box truck. It would take a little bit to reword that motion, but, I mean, he's limited to what's allowed under that section.
Okay, so the approval would include a box or a truck up to 26,000 pounds?
No, you wouldn't need to do that because it's specifically written out in the regulation that no commercial vehicle shall exceed 26,000 pounds. And then we have a height maximum of 13 feet 6 inches.
Right, okay. And I guess to go along with what Commissioner DeGray is speaking to, when we get applications such as this, by approving this special use, I don't see us as opening up a can of worms or setting a precedent. I mean, I think each application is we take it upon what it is ourselves. Am I right?
So I wouldn't compare applications just because the intent, the size, the registration, the location that they're being parked at is always different. Like the last commercial vehicle we had, if I remember correctly, was like a cab truck that had more than 2 axles. That's specifically called out in the regulations. We had one a couple months ago that was stated to be used as a farm vehicle in which the registration was not. So, I mean, they're just all different, and I would look at it as what you have in front of you. He came in willingly. He has a combination plate, residential and commercial. And if anything, if you decided tonight not to approve his application, he could get a smaller vehicle not exceeding 11,000 pounds and have it authorized by a zoning permit.
All right, yeah, I guess to answer the question, you answered it. I just don't see us as setting a precedent that we're opening up a can of worms here. I think every application, we look at it individually and act on it as such. And I don't think we're opening up a can where another applicant can come in and say, hey, I'm automatically expecting an approval because you approved somebody else 3 months ago or and whatnot. So.
Go ahead, Lori.
Mr. Chairman, I think you need to remember that this is a special use permit because it's going to be looking at each individual use and site. It's not carte blanche and it's not across town. This is, this is your opportunity to review it for what it is.
Thank you.
Okay, any other commission comments? Okay, is there anybody in the audience who would like to come up and speak before or against this proposal? Anyone in the audience who would like to come up and speak for or against this proposal? Anyone in the audience who would like to come up and speak for or against this proposal?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded, moved by Commissioner Kuzel, seconded by Commissioner Muley, to close the public hearing. Public hearing. Okay, so show of hands, please.
Aye.
All in favor? Okay, unanimous to close the public hearing?
I just want to point out one thing. When Commissioner Petronella reads the motion, just cross out the continue word. It would be motion to approve. And then to discuss about under 3.30.13D about the screening, if whether or not that can be exempt due to the existing topography of the site. Yeah, so in the regs, under 3.30.13, letter D.
D?
Yep, D as in dog. Commercial vehicles subject to special permit shall be screened along the closest residential property line by appropriate evergreen trees, shrubs, fence, or a combination. Exceptions and modifications may be considered by the commission, taking into consideration topography and proximity of adjacent residential structures, which the applicant has outlined before you tonight.
So we're waiving that, is what you're asking us? I'm not sure what you're.
Yeah, so you would make the motion to approve with the exception of requiring screening due to the existing topography.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So can we go ahead and make the motion? Whenever you're ready.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3096, 254 Post Office Road, application to locate a commercial vehicle at 254 Post Office Road. Pursuant to sections 3.30.13 and section 9.20, James Weldman, applicant owner, map 71, lot 25, R88 zone, with the following 22 conditions, and with the exception of the required screening, to waive the required screening as per 3.30.13.d. I got that right?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Okay, second, okay. Seconded by Commissioner Muley. Okay, can we have any discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Yeah. Linda DeGray.
4.
Kenneth Helinski.
4.
Joseph Muley.
4.
John Petronella is 4. Christian D'Antonio. 4. Patrick Hooper.
4.
And Walter Crizel.
4.
And you're approved,
Okay.
7-0.
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thank you for being willing to come out and do that.
Okay. Moving on to item 15, old business. Any old business? Item 16, new business. Any new business? Doesn't look like anything. 17, other business. No other business. 18, applications to be received. I believe we had one tonight.
Yes, Mr. Chair, PH 3099, 617 and 619 Hazard Avenue, application for modification of previously approved plan, public hearing 2033 for a proposed 2,908 square foot addition to a professional office building and associated improvements. Gauzes Realty, LLC, applicant owner, map 110, lot 254, R33 zone.
Okay. All right, thank you. 19, opportunities, unresolved issues. I don't think we have any of those. 20, executive session. I don't think we have that.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. It's been, Commissioner Kuzal is,
I learned
Is there a
something
second?
recently
I'm
about
sorry,
that
go
motion.
ahead.
I learned something about that motion recently. Technically, you don't have to make a motion to adjourn because there's no discussion. Once you adjourn, you adjourn.
Okay, cool. We're done.
I learned that in Casio.
It's the prestige.
If you want to, you can, but
Just to say it.
sure.
Unless Walter makes a motion.
We need Walter to make them.
I couldn't do it when I was chair, so now I'm doing it.
Adjourned 8 o'clock.
That's it. We're done.
there you go.